Well, hi everybody. It's really good to be with you again, and for the next in conversation with Jennie and Mark. Do you want to say hello, Jennie?
Hello, everybody.
So, Jennie is in her normal place, as you can see. I am in Chelmsford on a course, so I'm learning all about how to be a pastoral supervisor, which is quite interesting, actually, quite exciting. But that's where I am. And Jennie, you're at home, holding the fort.
I am at home. The house is tidy. I'm missing you lots.
You got Max. It's okay. He's good company.
He is, yeah.
So
Keeps
anyway.
him clean on for 24 hours. It's great.
So, firstly, we should say sorry for not appearing last week. Last week was a bit crazy, Jennie, wasn't it?
Oh, it was even more mad than normal. So, yeah, sorry, everyone. It was
Level
my
of
diary
madness
as well that was
of
just
scale.
overrun.
So, we are very pleased to be back this week, even if we're coming to you from slightly different places, which doesn't make any difference if you're listening to this or watching it. And it is Advent Sunday this Sunday.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that, Jennie?
So I have mixed feelings that we'll come to because you know that Advent is my favourite time of the year. It really is. So I don't know why I find it so difficult to preach all the way through Advent.
So, it's the Last Judgment and fairy lights. Is that basically it?
Yes. Well, there are no fairy lights around us, but
No,
yeah.
it's not Advent yet. It's not till
Ah,
Sunday.
well, do you think they're all going to just spring up?
No, not unless we go shopping on Saturday and you're out. So I don't think they are.
I could
Anyway,
come home.
Advent Sunday. So it's Happy New Year. It's approaching for the church because, we like to be different. And which means it's all about Jesus' return. It is about the last judgment, all that kind of stuff. And that's what we're going to be looking at in a minute, isn't it? So, and you're preaching on Sunday. Is that right?
Of course.
Of course. So I remember when I was at college and we were all doing placements in our different churches, and one of our tutors said to us, your incumbent, your vicar who you're on placement with, will definitely make you preach on Advent Sunday because they always like to avoid it. So,
Oh, right.
yeah. So I've got my new youth and children's worker doing an all-age service. What a result is that?
Do you know what though? When I used to have ordinands on placement, one of them did preach on Advent Sunday, and it was
Ah,
a really, really, really good sermon. Really, really good sermon. But
perhaps we
I
could
couldn't, yeah, going back again
perhaps we
because
could
I
get them
can't
back.
pull off.
We could invite them back. Come to Holy Trinity, one-off
I
gig.
know. Because I can't even begin to preach what he did that Sunday. But yes.
Okay, well, you're going to have to begin to preach. So let's see if we can help, shall we?
Okay.
So the passage is, and I have got it ready here.
Luke
I'm going to share it.
21, yes.
Luke 21, 25 to 37, I think. Is that right? Have you got 37? Oh, no,
36, I think.
33. Hey?
I've got 36, 25 to 36.
36. Okay, that's good. I was going by the paragraphs here, so that's good. Shall I read?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this is the passage for Sunday, Luke 21, reading from verse 25. So because we've gone into a new liturgical year, we're now in Matthew. So I'm guessing we're doing Matthew this year, but there we go. So
We're in Luke.
we are in Luke. Yes, yes. We'll play that with Luke instead of Matthew. So this is Luke 21, reading from verse 25. Jesus is speaking. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations confused by the roaring of the sea and the waves. People will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world, but the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now, when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Then he told them a parable. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. As soon as they sprout leaves, you can see for yourselves and know that summer is already near. So when you see these things taking place, you know that the kingdom of God is near. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Be on your guard so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that day does not catch you unexpectedly like a trap. For it will come upon all who live on the face of the whole earth. Be alert at all times, praying that you may have the strength to escape all these things that will take place and to stand before the Son of Man. So, a nice, easy passage then.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm going to move my light so I can see it.
Where do we start?
Can you just put it back on the screen? Because I think
Oh,
mine
sure.
says something slightly different. And I just wanted to have a quick look.
Okay.
That's where we could start.
Back.
So look at. Where is it that mine? Hang on.
We are still here, everybody, if you're listening and wondering what's happening.
Sorry.
Which verse was it?
What does verse 28 say? Oh no, it does say it. It's just it's at the beginning, and I thought it
Now,
was a bit
when
further down.
these things.
Raise up
Okay.
your heads. Okay.
Raise up your heads. Okay. We good?
Mhm.
Turn that off again.
Yes, please.
There we go. Okay. It's gone.
Okay, what was your question?
What do you think?
What do I think? So I have done a little bit of prep. I've had a look at what I've preached before, and obviously I always struggle with it. But I think the same thing as I always do, really. The bit that stands out is raise up your heads. And I think it sounds so terrible and scary, the whole passage of all the stuff that's going to happen. But it is supposed to be a message of hope. Jesus is coming. That's supposed to be a hopeful thing, not a scary thing. I mean, it always reminds me, and you and I must have had this conversation before, about the Left Behind series that I was made to watch
yes.
as a teenager.
Yes.
Always reminds me of that. Like nothing like frightening people into the kingdom
People
of
are
God.
disappearing. You don't know what's going on.
So, for the sake of our listeners that probably weren't traumatized and scarred for life by this, it was a series, wasn't it? I'm sure I saw
Yeah,
more
I
than
never watched it. But I am slightly traumatized from mild childhood with this by the similar ideas about the Rapture, as it's called, which is, if you're not aware of the Left Behind series, is it a book or TV, isn't it? Or is it both now? Or
Well, I think there was a film, but we were watching was definitely a series.
okay, so basically, it's based on the Rapture, which is based on a
Mm.
different passage. One will be taken, the other left, isn't it? And that and there's
Yeah.
lots and lots of different debates about that. But nonetheless, it's sort of the start of the end of the world. And there's lots of different interpretations about whether that kind of traditional Rapture interpretation, which some people may be familiar with, is right. But let's not get into that.
Oh, and I mean, I can't remember the details. I was quite
Yeah.
young. I know the vicar was left behind. His congregation went, but the vicar was left behind, and he was trying to hide the mark of the
Preaching to
devil.
an empty church. Oh well, yeah.
That's what it looks like. All the people you thought were holy were all
I
left
remember. I don't
behind.
remember the Left Behind series, but I do remember a Larry Norman song when I was a kid about "I wish we'd all been ready. It's too late. You've been left behind." Yeah, that was a sort of similar kind of feeling.
The ones who were left behind all had this mark, and they were all trying to hide the mark from each other because then you'd know that you'd been left, and it wasn't that you just
Okay.
hadn't got through you yet.
Okay.
It was
Yeah. Right.
just yeah,
So going back to
terrifying.
25, where it is 21.
Yeah. So that's what it reminds me of.
Okay.
Okay. And of course that feeds into it sounds so terrifying.
Yeah. Okay.
Really.
I mean, it is supposed to sound a bit terrifying, isn't it? I mean, I got lots of questions. So we've got signs of distress, we've got confusion, we've got fear and foreboding, we've got then we've got a bit of hope in there. This is a good thing. It's a bit like we're talking about, was it with the birth pangs on a similar passage in
Yeah,
Mark?
I think it's definitely a similar sort of thing, isn't it? It's going to be painful, but it's good.
We've got when the leaves appear on the fig tree, you know that summer's coming. So you can see this is coming, so you know what's coming next. Then we've got this really interesting verse. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place.
Uh-huh.
Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. And then a kind of, be on your guard, be ready, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
So I'd like to go to the fig
Questions.
tree, because
Okay.
that's kind of such, amongst all that stuff that's going on, that's just normality. That's just spring.
Okay.
Fig trees sprout their leaves. It's
Yeah.
just like this is it's a sign of hope, but it's also a sign of such a normal sign of hope. It's not like a shining light in the distance. It's the fig tree. The fig tree sprouts its leaves every year. It's a hope, but a normal hope. So you can see for yourselves. So it's almost looking for the looking for the hope in the normality of life. Maybe is
Okay.
what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like
I mean,
because actually, I mean, we do live, there is a huge amount of resonance actually, isn't there, with, people fainting from fear and foreboding. I mean, I don't know, Jenny is a little bit younger than me, everybody, which means that, I mean, you must remember, but of course you're not, you remember all the Cold War stuff, don't you? And I mean, I was convinced, right? I was absolutely convinced, 1984 and all that, that the world was going to end. Absolutely. I would have been probably, well, I would have been
yeah.
17, 16, 17. And I was absolutely convinced that the world was going to end. I remember driving around the M25 when it was being built. This is how sad I am. And there'll be signs saying this is going to be finished in 1985. And I used to think, why are they bothering? Because I was absolutely convinced that the world was going to end in a nuclear holocaust. But that's just
That's
me.
amazing, because there's not such a big gap between us, really, is there? But of course, in 1984, I was 10. I was
Yeah.
worried that Pippa Ward Bradley was going to beat me at, in the maths exam. I certainly wasn't bothered about the end of the world.
And but of course, it's to an extent, it's back, isn't it? That fear of, obviously after 1889, the Cold War
Mm.
ending, we all kind of breathed a sigh of relief and thought, okay, we know these weapons are still around, but actually it's back with the Ukraine war. There is a lot of fear around and a lot of trembling around. So, but I like that idea you talk about the fig tree. There's a sort of normality of life that is also going on, which shows that there's hope.
Yeah, and I think it's a very everyday hope. It's not. It's yes, as I say, it's not some kind of shining star in a distance. This is everyday hope from within them, really, just within their normal lives, within their normal communities.
Mm.
And maybe that's what we do need to take from it.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
amongst all that stuff, and it's not just all the outside stuff as well, is it? Advent is a very difficult time for a lot of people.
Mm.
Um, it's not so obvious in South Kensington, but the suicide rate in Stockton used to skyrocket in Advent and run up to
Mm.
Christmas. It's a really quite difficult time. Anybody, when you've got poor relationships and things like that, it all kind of magnifies in
Mm.
Advent, in that
Mm.
anticipation of the one day that when it gets there, it's just another day. but, but it really does. So maybe that is the way to preach it, really, that it can feel like your world is ending, but actually
Yeah,
just
and of
be
course,
able to
what
look
you're
for
saying
hope.
there is that we can feel like our world is ending, or there's the potential for our world as we know it to end on a kind of
Mm.
global scale. But actually, people in their day-to-day lives, when they can't face, whatever the
Yeah.
pressure, you're talking about the pressure that comes around Christmas, I guess, aren't you?
Yeah, it feels like
Feel
the world is ending, but there is hope.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I guess in a way, although I said it slightly flippantly to begin with, of course, the whole idea of Advent is about the light shining in the darkness.
yes.
And so, fairy lights and all that actually are the light shining in the darkness, aren't they? It's a dark time of year.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's why I like it. I love that feeling of anticipation. More than when we get to Christmas Day itself. I prefer that kind of run up to it, that anything could happen. I mean, I've taken the dog out tonight, and like, I mean, it weren't fairy lights, but it's just there's something nice about a dark, crisp night and lights and people behind doors and just
Mm.
cozy. And I love the idea of, yeah, anything could happen, that anticipation, that feeling of magic. But yeah, and you get it so much more at Christmas. And it's more than the presents, and it's more than Santa's about to bring loads of gifts. It's just, it feels magical.
I mean, you could say, I suppose you could say with this passage that if Jesus is saying this generation will not pass away until these things have taken place, then he's not talking about the end of the world, because that generation has now passed away. So, I suppose you've got two choices really. You say, was Jesus somehow mistaken? There's a few issues with saying that.
It's always a
Or do
tricky
you,
line, isn't it?
there's a tricky line to take, although some people do take it. Or do you say that, in one sense, and of course, the two major things that happened in that generation were his death and resurrection and the destruction of the temple, which I think, is particularly so. So, there are ways of interpreting that verse that don't necessarily have to say, and again, that's sort of part of the, well, no, the death, I don't know. Those things are things that have happened, aren't they? They're things that have taken place, and we're still here, and there's still hope.
Yes, and I think, I mean, between us, and if we could think of lots of things to make it more personal, of things that have happened, and we're still here, and we still have hope.
Mm.
Because
Yes.
I think there is a danger of preaching it too airy fairy. Because we've already had Christ the King or the end of the world, as well. So you can just repeat yourself, can't you? So I think now's the time to kind of bring it in and home it a bit. And it probably needs to be a bit more personal, thinking some kind of things that can some illustrations where people actually will relate to on a personal level.
So you're really kind of thinking not so much on a global or even cosmic scale, more like these are things that we go through, these are tough times that we go through, but there is still hope. The leaves are turning, the summer is coming. Is that what you mean?
Well, yes, but partly because I'm not sure that everybody except you does think the end of the world is coming.
No,
I know,
I'm totally prepared to accept this. Is my neurosis. It's fine.
I know you miss some optimism. Wake up going, oh, there's going to be nuclear war. But like, I'm not sure that most people do.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they do, or maybe I'm just really, really laid back. But but they never say it. You'd have thought somebody would mention it. I mean,
True.
they mentioned the farmers, but they didn't mention the fact that, it was going to be the end of the world.
Okay.
Um, so I'm not sure that people think it is.
Mm, mm.
Um,
I used to get, I mean, it's strange. I remember once reading this verse, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. It's like, I mean, is that sort of more, is that a bit of Jesus hyperbole here? Because we talked about that in the earlier episodes, didn't we? Cutting your hands off and, because I remember thinking, oh, heaven and earth are going to, well, not, why are we believing in heaven and eternal life if it's going to pass away? Sort of. But
but
again,
it is
I'm
going to
probably
pass
just as
away because there'll be a new heaven and a new earth.
okay. Yes. It's a good job you're here to keep me on the straight and narrow, isn't it?
It's
Good,
like,
isn't it? That heaven will also be renewed. But that is what it says in Revelation 21. You're quite right. There will be a new heaven and a new earth.
a new heaven and a new earth. Well, I kind of thought it would just be all a bit like kind of swirly, swirly, like you would do on Doctor Who or something, and it would become a new one.
I think
Like
that, I
regeneration.
think there is a truth in that. Yes, there is a truth in that. That there will be continuity between this
That,
age and the age to come. Yes, seen in Jesus's resurrected body that he still bear, which you always got to come back to, haven't you? Always got to come back to that.
yeah.
That he
So I
bears
don't
the.
think pass away and new one coming in. I think I can only describe it as Doctor Who, or swirly, swirly,
But
regenerate.
Jesus's words will be the continuity then.
Well, yes, because they were
During
there at the beginning
this time.
before everything anyway.
Yes, that's true. And it was by, yeah, okay. So we got to be on our guard. I mean,
On guard.
Advent's a time to remember that. Oh God, stop it. So it's not helping, is it? So Advent is a time to
You're not
remember.
preaching. I don't need to help you. It's fine. On guard.
Okay, I want you to include that in your sermon.
I will
That
do.
will be your challenge. So
Accepted.
we've got to be on our guard. We've got to live in expectation of Jesus's return day by day. But easier said than done, isn't it?
Oh, I'm always expecting him to return. I am constantly disappointed that he doesn't just walk through the door. And you see, you're laughing, but actually, I often am.
I think you've mentioned to me before there have been moments where you just think, come on, Jesus, this would be a great time.
Wouldn't it be amazing if the world ended now? uh, Equally, there are times where I can think, not yet, not yet, you know. When I started theological college and I was going to get the degree that I hadn't had all my life, never had a degree, so I was working for a degree. You know, if we'd come back before I'd got that degree, I'd have been really upset.
So what you really would have wanted was a heavenly graduation ceremony. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, that's a point. That would be all right. But
Would be
yes,
okay.
but you've got to have
So
got the degree before you have that.
it's dark, but there's light. It's interesting, isn't it? That it's interesting. This passage is actually spring coming into summer, and this is the Advent is all about that fact that it's dark, but there's light there, and there's hope in whatever darkness you can be in, which actually is a great message, isn't it?
There is hope. Raise up
There
your
is hope.
heads.
Yeah,
Jesus is coming.
yeah, yeah. And I suppose actually that is a verse to come back to that, and perhaps to finish on that, which is worth reflecting on, isn't it? Because actually, the danger is that when we think of all these things, whether what at whatever level that we've talked about, I suppose you would actually say it's easy to let your head drop.
Yes, and I think that's a good image. You can
Yeah,
kind of let your head drop and you become overwhelmed by it, but look up because he's coming,
yeah,
and
and
it's
actually
like
that's an image that we
seeing him
isn't.
come through the door.
And actually, what I quite like about that is it's talking about getting your head dropped. That's not a particularly biblical image, is it? That's something which we would talk about. And actually, our heads dropped. And actually, what Jesus is saying now, when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads because your redemption is drawing near. And that's a great picture, actually, especially even if you're going through a tough part. And I remember going through a particularly tough time in my life and thinking
Yeah.
and it was almost as much as every day I'm 5 minutes or I'm an hour sooner to getting out of this. And that actually was a real encouragement to me at that time, because I just and I think that's a real encouragement when things are really tough, isn't it?
Yeah, we do 1 hour at a time, one day at a time. I've
Yeah,
been there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, for those of us who have stuck with us this far, thank you so much for listening to our ramblings. We will be back next week.
We will. We'll be back next week.
If you want to hear Jenny's thoughts on this, then do head along to Holy Trinity at 11 o'clock on Sunday. And if you come to St Margaret's, you can enjoy our wonderful new youth and children's worker, Sarah's thoughts on something different. I shall look forward to it too.
You don't even know what it is.
Adventy, but anyway, I think it will be good. So that's what we've got going on this weekend. So thanks, everybody. Thanks
All
for
right,
listening.
thank you. See you
Take
soon.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.